One. All right, so in this little video lesson, what we're going to do is the lab for the day that you might miss because of our special assembly. So in this lab today, we're using a product that is copper to something, okay? What you don't know is it copper carbonate or is this copper chlorate, okay? So we're going to decompose it through our decomposition type reaction, and then by the gas that we collect, we're going to be able to determine was it carbonate or chlorate, because we know how those reactions produce gases based off of the standard of those type of reactions, okay? So here's how we do it. We first have to set up water displacement. Now what I had done before the video started was I filled up this water trough full of water. I've attached a hose to it with a rubber stopper on it. The bottom of these troughs have an inlet, and what I did is I attached the hose right here, sort of right here, flip it upside down, fill it full of water, okay? Once that is set up, now what can happen is I'm going to put my copper compound, get a scoop of that, put it in the bottom of the test tube, and we want to decompose it, okay? This reaction requires constant heat input to make the reaction run, so we have to constantly heat this thing up and let it run. Now normally the gas would just escape out of here and we wouldn't be able to test it. But what we're going to do is we're going to plug this into here, and as it heats up, the gas that gets formed in here is it'll travel through the glass, through the hose, it's going to bubble up through the water, okay? So we're going to simulate that so you kind of see what's happening here. This is just a squirt bottle that's empty, so I'm just going to show you as the gas bubbles up, we're going to see it bubble in the water like such. Now to collect it, here's the trick. The other test tube, we're going to place it in the water, completely fill it, and then invert it over top of that hole, okay? So now, when the gas starts to collect up, it's going to come in here and it'll fill the test tube. As the gas fills up the test tube, it's going to bubble in there, displacing the water back out. That's why it's called gas collection by water displacement. You know it's full when the bubbling starts to bubble on the outside of it, okay? So let's get it all set up. We have this set up properly. We have our copper compound in here. We're going to close the system. So that's set up here. We're going to light our Bunsen burner. Gas turned all the way on here. Quarter turn here. Okay. And we want just a nice gentle heat. And now we start to heat it, okay? So you can heat it up and then kind of pull the heat away if it happens too fast. And you start to see, maybe you can catch it for the film angle down below, we start to see it starting to get kind of black over here, and we see the bubbling happening over here. So the bubbles coming in. Now, one thing you gotta be careful of, is you get the black kind of showing up here. So we're seeing that decomposition happen over here, we see the bubbling happen over here. And at some point, this is gonna get really tippy. So I'm gonna put my finger on it to keep it from tipping over as I do this. This is where it's nice to have a partner. So if I had a partner that wasn't filming for me, then they would be holding the test tube and I would be heating up the copper compound. I'm gonna continue to heat until my test tube is completely full, which it is almost full now. I know it's full when the bubbles, instead of going into the test tube, we'll start seeing that happen here shortly, start bubbling outside the test tube. Now I know my test tube is full, so all the gas that I made from inside of here is now in this test tube. So I'm going to pull that away, and what I want to do is test this gas, okay? If it's copper carbonate, we know that we should be producing carbon dioxide gas as one of our products. If it's copper chlorate, we know we should be producing oxygen with one of our gases. So we're going to use the same type of test as we did before using the wood splint. This time I'm going to have it flaming, not just glowing. So I'm actually going to leave it as a flame. In the water, I don't want to lose any of the gas, so before I pull this thing out, I'm going to stick my thumb underneath it. I'm going to cap it off with my thumb. So now my thumb is sealing this off. So I'm going to come over here. You can see this a little bit better. I have a flaming splint, and I'm just going to slide this in to see what happens. So open it up, slide it in, and as soon as I put it in there, it goes out, okay? So as I enter that in the test tube, we now see that the gas in there put out the flame, so that should tell us what type of gas we have in our system, okay? So I'll go back and review those different gases and what kind of happens with those. And the idea is from that process, we now know what gas was produced, so we know if this was either copper carbonate or copper chlorate to finish up our daily quick lab, okay? So go ahead and review the video again if you need to answer all the questions and write this reaction up in your trimester 2 daily quick labs.